All right, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Super excited to have you all on. This is part of our monthly webinar series brought to you by the team at Sundog. My name is Cohen Barnes. I am President and CEO of Sundog. And today we have the chiming and delightful old Rich Cackery. He's going to be helping me monitor the Q&A and monitor the chat. So if you notice, if you move your mouse down to the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a toolbar show up, and there's going to be Q&A and chat. Either way, whichever one you want to use, feel free to pop your questions in. If you use the chat, everyone's going to be able to see it. If you use the Q&A, we can control that a little bit differently, but I don't think anything's going to be confidential here. But I am super, super excited about today's topic. We're going to do a Microsoft OneNote breakdown. I am an extreme power user of OneNote, both personally and professionally, and so is our team. So I'm going to just show you real world how I'm using it for my home life and how I'm using it for my professional life, mostly professional here. And I'm going to cover a lot of tips and tricks that hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to, one, have an extreme desire to start implementing Microsoft OneNote for yourself and your organization, but then also you'll have the tools needed to really be able to fast forward and start using it as effectively as possible. Beautiful thing is I'm recording this so you can rewatch it later. You can forward it on to your staff, whatever you need to do. But welcome. And by all means, please ask questions. Rich will stop me right where I'm at, and I'll make sure I get them answered as we go along. So questions are wonderful, and it gives me a chance to have a sip of coffee. Not that I already haven't had too much coffee, but a sip of coffee and take a break from talking. All right, I am going to share my screen right now so you all can see Microsoft OneNote. And Rich, can you confirm OneNote is present?
I do see it, yes.
And no crazy flickering, it's good quality?
No flickering, yep.
All right, wonderful. All right, so as you can see, I have Microsoft OneNote up. Anyone with a Microsoft Office 365 subscription will get Microsoft OneNote as part of that, pretty much across the board. And the beautiful thing about using Microsoft OneNote with Microsoft 365 is the integration between that platform, and it's integrating more and more, in particular with Microsoft Teams. And those that have watched previous webinars on how to become a Teams Ninja, you were able to see where OneNote is in each team folder, and it's a great way to be able to collaborate. And you're going to see some of that. I'm not going to go into Teams this time. We're just going to focus on OneNote, but you're going to see how different people in my organization collaborate using Microsoft Teams. So first, how do you create a OneNote notebook? Super easy. You can do it in Teams, or if you just go down to the bottom of your screen where it says type here to search, you can type OneNote or just go to your program toolbar and find Microsoft OneNote. When you open it up, you're going to be able to go to File, New, and you can choose where you want to put it. If it was personal, I might put it in my OneDrive personal account. If it's professional, I might put it with OneDrive with Sundog. Or I could actually put it on our SharePoint site if I want to. Doesn't ultimately matter because you can move OneNote. So if you mess this up, and you put a bunch of data in, we can always move it to another location, we being you, or you can reach out to your friendly staff at Sundog, and we'd be happy to help you with that. But also what you would do is you just choose where you'd want to put it. You type in the notebook name, test. Let me do another test. And I can hit create notebook. I can choose a different folder. So if you notice, when I hit create new folder here, it's still in the web version of OneDrive, and it's showing me all my web-based OneDrive folders. So I can go ahead and choose which one I want to put it in, or I can create a new folder, whatever I want to do. And as soon as I hit create, that OneNote notebook will be there, and it'll start you off with a blank page that'll just say new section 1. I pre-populated this with today's webinar agenda just to kind of give you an idea, but ultimately that's all it takes to create a OneNote notebook. You're done, you're ready to operate. So if you wanted to share it, you can also just go to share, and you can invite people using their email address, especially if they have a Microsoft account, so Microsoft 365 users, and within your organization, super, super easy to be able to do. And they'll get an email invitation, they'll be able to click on it, OneNote will open up, it'll automatically populate the OneNote notebook on their computer, and they are ready to go. Beautiful thing about OneNote is all the data that we're seeing is synchronized up into the cloud. It's just showing it to me on my computer. So my OneNote at home, my OneNote on my laptop, my OneNote on my computer here at work, and my OneNote on my phone, the OneNote app that I have installed on my phone, all has everything that I put into OneNote. So this entire agenda now is synchronized across all my devices, which is super cool. So I'm going to show you, so that's how you create a OneNote notebook. And Rich, don't forget to be monitoring the chat. Everyone saw him looking down, right? Yeah, he's not paying attention. Monitor the chat, monitor the Q&A. And I thought the best way to do this is I need to show you some OneNote notebooks in operation right now. And then I'm going to go through individually and show you how you can do the exact same thing that I did. So first, I'm not going to touch on it much, but I'm going to show you my home notebook. Where is it? Shopping. To-do. To-do is a great one. So actually, let me see here. Miscellaneous. Why am I thinking I'm missing one? Which wouldn't that be funny? Oh, here we go. So to-do. Perfect. All right, so if you can imagine, I moved in my new house many years ago, and first time winter came around, bunch of stuff happened, and I was just like, you know what? I need to remember all the things that I need to do every winter. So I came up with a Winterize the House, and I came up with a De-Winterize the House. Winterizing the house, which was fascinating. If you look here, I just started typing in, oh yeah, I should buy some salt for the sidewalk. I should replace the water in the hot tub, clean the filters, fill lawn tractor with gas, and refill gas can. So my lawn tractor has a plow on it in the winter, and that's how I plow my driveway. The reason this is on here is the first winter I did that, massive snowstorm hits. I'm on my lawn tractor, I'm plowing my driveway, and it runs out of gas. Of course, I go into the garage, go to get the gas can's empty. Duh. Instantly grabbed my phone, went into the OneNote notebook for Winterize the House, and I added refill gas can and refill the lawn tractor with gas. The point to that is this will never happen to me again, and hasn't happened to me since, because come wintertime, I've got a complete checklist that I go through in order to make sure that I'm as efficient as possible and I don't have to get out in my car in the middle of a massive snowstorm and try and make it to the gas station to fill the gas can, right? But if you think about that, you can apply that to so many things in your professional life. Those things that you do relatively over and over again, but far enough apart that you can't remember all the steps, or multiple people are involved in the process doing different parts. And you want to be able to put all those steps in one place for everyone to be able to access and update. So as issues materialize and you come up with a resolution for them, you've got one place that you can go and make sure that that never happens again. And I'm going to show you some real examples here in a second. So if I go to, let's see, I'm going to go back to my temps notebook, and oh yeah, marketing notebook. That's a good one. So here is our marketing Teams notebook. So everyone in sales and marketing has access to this because of Microsoft Teams, but they have access to this particular OneNote notebook. If you look at the top here, you're going to see a bunch of different tabs. So Infusionsoft is the program, it's our CRM, it's our marketing automation tool. You're going to see on the right here, all these pages are all different things that we have created. Like for example, the closer look is a marketing campaign we're doing right now. Here's a link to all the stuff that I need to buy. So when we need to reorder it, we don't have to search Amazon again and wonder, is that the right thing, or do we order something different? We just click on the link and order and update our quantities. We list the postage, we list how much labor it takes to do that, because then we can do an analysis on the return on investment on our marketing. But my marketing manager and myself are in here all the time, and he's updating it, I'm updating it. Sales might pop in to get, okay, what's all in the closer look campaign. And this is one area that they can go to and see all these. And as I mentioned, these are just hyperlinks. And it's just a beautiful way to be able to see this marketing campaign, what all is in it, and how much does it cost. But then you can go on to other things like our ebooks. This is a really good one because we have a lot of ebooks out there, and I get questions sometimes where someone's like, hey, you know, I got some questions going on X, Y, or Z. And if I know we already have an ebook about it, well, I'll just forward that PDF to whoever that is. So they've got that information right at their disposal. But without that, I'd have to go to our website, I'd have to find the ebook, I'd have to fill out the form to download it, and I'd have to get to the thank you page in order to click on it, to download it to my computer, and then send it to the client. This is a way that I can just instantly click and get the PDF, and off I go. And we update this as new ebooks come out. And it's just a nice place to be able to have that particular reference for it.
Hey, Cohen, I do have a question. Came in.
Yeah.
Tanisha's asking, are the pages on the right specific to the Infusionsoft notebook?
So, actually, that's good. So if you noticed, what I did is these are all the different notebooks that I've got right now, and there's some more, but this is what's being listed. So I clicked on the marketing team notebook. So this is a notebook specifically around marketing, and those that when they're looking for information, they know, okay, that's marketing. I'm going to go to the marketing team notebook. Then in my notebook, I have different tabs at the top here that is specifying an overall category. So in this case, where I was at with Infusionsoft, that's our CRM. So everything here on the right is all stuff related to our CRM. And that's a customer relationship management software. That's what CRM stands for. I don't know if that answers the question. Did it sound like it, Rich? He's just going to say yes.
I'm just going to say no.
So, and I'm going to further explain, this might help. So,
Tanisha said yes.
Okay, perfect. So that was the Infusionsoft tab where I'm putting everything around the CRM. This could be onboarding a new employee, right? You could have a OneNote notebook HR, and you could have a tab onboarding new employee. You could have a tab offboarding employee. It's all how you just want to categorize the information. But for us, then what I have like here is a marketing tab. So I can come here and we do a monthly newsletter. Same kind of thing, right? What does it take? Where are the links? How much does it cost? How much labor does it take? We're able to put all that in there. We also have, if you look here, a weekly to-do list. So every week in my marketing L10 meeting with Josh, we sit down and one of the questions on our agenda is, did you perform your checklist? What's cool is what I'm referring to is this here. So every week, Josh comes in here and you can see the JP over here on the right. This tells me that this section was last modified by Josh, not myself. So it's really neat to be able to see as people are updating information. But what's beautiful about this is this allows Josh to methodically every week perform the same tasks. So he'll go through and we're pretty descriptive, right? What safe search do you use? What tag do you tag them with? What campaign is it? Testing all of our forms on our website. That's a big one, by the way, people. So many of you have website forms. I don't know when the last time you checked them, but you'd be amazed how many times I come across those and they don't work. And that's the last thing you want if it's a client reaching out or if it's a new prospect reaching out. But this is a list, so he knows he's got to go everywhere here to all these forms, click on those, submit, and test. And what's nice is something new comes up and I'm like, I'd really love Josh to make sure that we take care of X. I can just pop into this marketing team OneNote notebook. I can come here and I can add another step that he needs to perform. So sales, if they ever want to, or anyone in our organization really, if they wanted to, they could come here and see what the process is. And that would apply, I know I'm just talking about sales and marketing right now, that could apply in your organization, like I said, with HR, it could apply with accounting, it could apply with the leadership team. You can have a OneNote notebook for all those groups. Or you could have one notebook for your company and just put in tabs, HR, accounting, service, whatever it might be, right? It all depends on you, how you want to organize it. If we continue to look at the top, you're going to see things like Producers Club. That's a conference that I go to, so that's where I'll put my notes. Ian calls. He's our search engine optimization and Google AdWords guy. Boot Camp, these are other conferences that we've gone to, right? Other campaigns, roadshows, another conference. So that's where we'll go and put our notes. Josh, if he goes, or I, or both of us might be entering notes simultaneously when we're at a conference in all those. Coaching calls, when I'm engaged with our marketing firm and I just want to go over some stuff and get a better understanding, that's where I'll put my notes. And my notes are just like preparing for this webinar today. I started with a basic agenda, and then as things came up, it's like, oh, I'll add that, I'll add that, I'll add that. Josh, same ability. He went in, added, like, make sure you introduce yourself, make sure you specify the topic of the seminar. But for you, it could be, again, let's think about onboarding an employee. With COVID-19 and some of the changes that have happened on how we give PTO and things like that, maybe you would have an onboarding document about your COVID-19 policy. You could just instantly go into that HR checklist for onboarding a new employee, add it there, and off you go. A lot of you I know do this probably in Microsoft Word. You've got files and folders on your computer. That's where you go to do this. Can't say enough that it's wonderful to be able to do it in Microsoft OneNote. Last thing, real world, I want to show you, and I'm going to show you how to do all this individually, so hang tight. For us, like our sales notebook, it's kind of cool. Like here's our playbook. So everything from talking scripts to avatars to whatever salespeople want to have. So all of our salespeople collaborate here in the sales playbook. And you're going to see on the right, all these sections in bold. They are pages that have been updated and I haven't reviewed yet. So it's really cool when I come in here and be like, oh, someone updated the prospect meeting prep list. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and check out and see what that is. But here they actually created a quick playbook outline at the top on the right. You see it? That's the page. They created a playbook outline. So when you click on it, you're going to go directly to one of those sub pages, which is really cool. But here, like our target market, just defining what clients we go after, client avatar, what does that look like, our unique selling proposition, all the stuff that sales ultimately needs. Their sales process, the selling system, all that. It's just really cool that they all can sit there and collaborate in there, and it's one place whenever they need to reference, how do I do X? They're gonna come into the sales notebook, they're gonna go to the playbook, they're gonna look for the 30-second commercial, and they're going to click on it, and they're going to have access to all that data. So super, super cool. I hope some wheels are spinning for all of you. In fact, it'd be great if you put in the chat, yes, this is good, or Cohen, this is crazy. I'm leaving the webinar right now. But if you could just holler and let me know if I'm on track here. And again, I'm going to go into the detail now. All right. And Rich, if they're saying it's the worst webinar ever, just shield me from that. You know, emotionally, I probably can't handle it. Yeah. So sharing your notebook tabs and pages. So imagine this page here. If someone reached out to me, again, we can call it the employee onboarding, and you wanted to be able to share that process with another nonprofit or another business owner or whatever it might be, or just someone in your organization that isn't a member of that particular notebook. It's really cool where you can come into File at the top left, and you can go to Share. And you can choose a bunch of different ways to be able to share information with people. Again, the whole notebook, or just share, you want to move the notebook, things like that. Just make it super easy. But then also you can export. So exporting, I can export the whole entire notebook. I can export just a section of the notebook. I can export a page, a section, or the whole notebook. And it'll export as a file, and you can email it to someone. And what that means is I can export this page agenda. I can export the whole section, the tab, webinar, or I can export the whole notebook, test notebook. So it's just a nice way to be able to get information out. I actually share, because I collaborate with a lot of other IT companies from around the nation. We share this stuff all the time, where it's like, hey, they just want a page on Cohen. What is your process for X? And I'll be like, oh yeah, here you go. And be able to send it right over to them, which is pretty cool, without giving them access to the whole notebook, because I don't want a bunch of people outside of my sales and marketing team accessing my OneNote notebook.
And Cohen, I did have a question come in.
Yeah.
Nicole would like to know, when importing the OneNote calendar into a Teams channel, is there a way to have it default to the current month versus the month that exists, or versus the first month that exists?
Man, we're going to like 500 level knowledge of OneNote. I do not know that one, but I tell you what I will do is, Rich, if we can capture that after the webinar, I'll find out that answer and I'll send you an email on what I think that is. Maybe it'll be, no, you can't once I figure it out. But it also just might be, hey, here's a cool video that's going to be able to show you how to do just that. So I owe you on that one. All right, so tab and sections. So in OneNote, I mentioned we have, there's a bunch of categories. So pages, like you saw on mine, all the pages that were over here. And I'm just gonna go, we'll do tabs first. So at the top here, the tabs are actually called sections. So this is webinar. I could do one on questions from webinar, right? And it just created a new tab. And you can create multiple tabs. And that's just a nice way, again, for being able to concentrate information around a particular topic in a whole heading called questions for webinar. The reason you would do maybe a tab instead of a page is, again, if it looks like everything, if you can put everything you want around a webinar as pages on the right, and it's all under the topic. Mentally, it makes sense, like a file cabinet drawer, and you go in for your files and folders and everything's webinar related. Maybe you only need one tab in that notebook. But a lot of times you're going to find yourself, you know what, I'm not going to clutter up my webinar tab. This is something else. It could be webinar software you're evaluating. You're looking at Zoom, you're looking at Teams, you're looking at WebEx, you're looking at a bunch of different stuff. Maybe you'd create a tab for that. So the cool thing is with all these tabs, and you can change their colors. Like if you right click on them, you can select a different color for them if you want. You can move them around with your left mouse button, clicking on a tab and dragging it over. So you can shift things around, which is cool, especially as you add more tabs. Sometimes you want to move the stuff that you're using most often to the front. And then there's another cool feature where at the toolbar up here, if I right click, I can do a new section group. And what that means is, what I do a lot of times is archive. So what that means is, you know, if this new section 2 has a bunch of old stuff in it, right? But I don't want to lose it really. What I'll do is I'll drag new section 2 into my archive folder. And now it's there. And you can see a little up arrow. If I go back up, new section 2 is gone, but the archive's still there. So I can always go in there. And over time, I keep accumulating more and more stuff that I've got in my archive section. But it could be, depending on the complexity of the topic, you know, if HR was a tab, maybe you have onboarding a new customer or new employee in there, and you create a section group for onboarding, and you've got all kinds of pages, documents, things like that that are associated with it. But really cool way to be able to organize. Keeping me on track. Let me look at the webinar.
One more question coming here.
Yeah.
Jacob would like to know, is there a way to easily convert a tab to a page or vice versa, other than just cutting and pasting the information?
Yeah, you can't convert a tab to a page. Because these are specific. They're just tab headers, almost like a folder in a file cabinet where you wrote down what the name of it was, but inside there are the pages. Now you can move pages around from folder to folder, and I'll just cover it right now. So let's say this page, Jacob, the agenda, I want to move over to new section 3 instead of copying and pasting, because I know sometimes that doesn't go well. If I right click on agenda here with my right mouse button and I go to move page, you can see it's really cool. It'll show you all the OneNote notebooks that you have, and you can choose. And in this case, I'll go down to test webinar, right? And if I expand test webinar, you're going to see webinar and new section 3. So I'll click on new section 3 and I'll hit move. And now if I go to new section 3, there's my agenda page. So I hope that kind of helps. You can't convert tabs and sections to pages, but you can move pages around into different tabs or OneNote notebooks completely. And you can copy them as well too. Sometimes it's nice, maybe so there's something going on in marketing, but you know what, sales would like it in their playbook. We'll just copy it over to the sales playbook. All right, I'm gonna move this guy right back, because then you know I'm gonna get lost and not be able to find what I need. Webinar, boom, move. All right, so now it's back in webinar. This, before I forget, this is a really cool feature too. So what I did before the webinar is I took a picture of on my iPhone of my computer, and I sent it to OneNote on my phone. And what it did, I got to choose test notebook, webinar section, and I hit send, and it synced to my phone and then up to the cloud and then down to my computer here. So that's a picture of my computer setup. So yeah, if you see my head looking around, you know it's because all the monitors that I have there. So moving section group, that pretty much covers, I guess if you need to delete a tab, remember, just like everything in Windows, click your right mouse button, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of other options, right? So you can go ahead and delete, and now that section's gone. You can merge into another section. So that's a way that you can combine two sections, if I remember right. But a bunch of options when you right click with your right mouse button. All right, pages. Now you saw, again, if I go to my marketing notebook, let's say, you saw all the pages here on the right? So I'll show you how to do those really quick. It's really easy. Pretty self-explanatory. You have an add page over here on the right. If I click on add page, creates a blank page right out of the gate. Whatever I put here in the upper left-hand corner is going to be the title of it. So test page. Now you notice on the right, that page is called a test page. I can create another one, second test page. And if I wanted to group, so let's say on the right, I had agenda and, well, perfect example, let's do this. So this photo that I have, that's gonna be part of my talking point for the webinar. So if I had my agenda page, but I'm gonna have a bunch of sub pages that are all relating to agenda, what I can do is right click on the photo page and mark it as a sub page. And if you notice, it indented it over a little bit. So you can move pages around, make them a sub page, and it brings a little order to the notebook when you start having a lot of pages. And again, if I flip right back to sales, see how we did that here? So sales process, there's 2 pages that are related to that. So they went ahead and made those sub pages within the OneNote notebook. All right, agenda, formatting. So you notice a lot of this it's really basic. You know, I can have all the word features, bullet points. I can switch it all if I wanted to numbers, and it'll just number everything. You can see now it's 8, 9, 10, A, B, C, right? All that. You can change font color, you can do highlighting, you can do all that. But that's just the beginning. And what I mean by that is, let's say in this agenda, I wanted to show you some documents, or better yet, if we go to that employee onboarding, let's say there's some Word documents like the W-4 that they've got to fill out, other state and federal documents that they've got to fill out. You can put those in here. And how you can do that is, like, let's say it's a Word document. I'm dragging a Word document from one of my other monitors over here, and I'm just letting it go. And it's asking me, do I want to attach to the file, or do I want to insert to printout? This is fascinating because first I'll attach file. There it is. Bam. Word document all set to go, right? But if I do this and insert printout, give it a sec. Yes, yes, yes. What it did is it actually printed the Word document out onto the OneNote notebook, and it left the file there as well for reference. So sometimes rather than copying and pasting and all that, you know, you're going to just have a page or a sub page that might be part of that onboarding a new employee, and you've got a Word document for it, and you want to convert all those documents off your server into OneNote. You could just drag that Word document, that PDF, that whatever, into the page, and it'll go ahead and just insert all the content without having to update or copy and paste, which is really cool. You can also, like, let's say it's an image. There's a particular picture that you want. So I can bring in a graphic. And are you Huskies? Go Huskies. I could bring in a picture. There's a picture of the Sundog team when we first got into our new building. Oop, shouldn't have put it there. And a PDF. So the example I'm just trying to show you is it's not just about text. You can drop other things in here as reference, or other documents in here that it just makes sense. You might as well just keep them in the OneNote notebook. I don't know if there's any questions about that, Rich. Hearing none.
Actually, I want to come in.
Okay.
Just Tanisha, like, no, can you add a link to a file on a shared drive?
Yes, absolutely. So do I have a shared drive? All my stuff is in the cloud. So let's see if this works. No, let's do sales. Let's do pricing calculators. Boom. No, here. Bear with me, Tanisha, and I'll show you how I did this. Let me see if it works first. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh. No, it looks like it's not going to insert the link, but hang on. Let me make sure here. I won't dwell on it too long. Link, text to display, browse. Ooh, we might have got it. Let me go to desktop. Boom. Test. Webinar. Oh, shoot. I see. Actually, that's okay. That's super cool. So imagine onboarding document, or here. Let me do it right here. So let's just go where we're at right now. I'm going to do, imagine this is that HR folder, right? I'm going to do onboarding document. And what I can do is highlight onboarding document. I can go to link at the top here. You see my mouse? I know I'm moving pretty quick. And I'm going to click on browse for a file. I'm going to browse. I'll just do the FitWorks routine. So let's say this is your onboarding document. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, I'm going to choose. Oh, no, that's good. Boom. So now the onboarding document is a link to, if you see it, to my desktop and that file. So yes, you can do that, Tanisha. Whew. One less thing I have to do after this webinar. That's awesome. You can also link to other pages and other notebooks too, which can be helpful. If you remember in our sales outline, they had links to other subpages. You can create links, and that's what this link button was doing. I can create a hyperlink to somewhere on the web. I can browse for a file on my computer or server. And I could link to another section of the OneNote notebook, which is really cool. All right, where are we at? Oh yeah, before I forget, this here, I don't think I can do it while my video is going right now, but you could, like, let's go to the onboarding document. And right here, I could click record video, and you can do a quick video or audio if you want, but you can do a quick video of, hey, make sure when the new employee is filling out that they produce their social security card and that they sign their first, middle, and last name, and recording. And that recording, video and everything will be right there in the OneNote notebook, this page, with further instructions for the person that might be following through with the OneNote or with the checklist, which is really cool. So I highly encourage you all to come into Insert and go through those and just see what all is available to you, because there's a lot. You can set up templates for pages, a bunch of other stuff, which is really cool. All right, we're at 11:32, but I'm getting close. So I said I'm going to try for 30 minutes. Oh, page versions, gold, just gold. So I'm going to go to, well, maybe this one will do it. History, page versions, boom. Yeah, okay, perfect. So now check this out. So let's say you came into your OneNote notebook, you went to your employee onboarding document, and you know it used to say something, and like the W-4 form, but it's not there anymore. And you're like, oh, what happened to it? What you can do is if you come into history and go to page versions and just click on that, if I select page versions, watch on the right where the page playbook outline over here is, right? You're going to see all kinds of different snapshots in time on what that page used to look like. So you can go back in history and go, there it is. All right. And it was Ramon. He did it. But that's a cool way that if something does accidentally get messed up, you can actually go back in time and see it and be able to recover it, which is great. And then anything you delete too, you can get out of the OneNote notebook recycle bin, which is awesome. So that's really, really helpful for me at times when you know something just doesn't look like right and it changed, right? So the last thing I'll cover up really quick is on like the agenda and the pages on the right. As you add more, remember, you can move them around by holding, like here, the second test page with your left mouse button, moving it up. You can promote a page. So this is a sub page right now. If I right click on it, I can promote the page. I'm going to go ahead and make a sub page. And I just saw something that might be incredibly awesome. Claps. Wow. Okay, new feature. I didn't even know it was there. This is really cool. Those 2 pages here, I can actually highlight them and I can right click and collapse. So if you had, you just wanted to see the main sections and hide all this stuff because you've got 50 pages created, which is not outside the realm, depending on what you're doing. That's a cool feature to be able to collapse those sub pages. So I thought that was pretty neat. And if you look, I can go ahead and click up and it's a permanent feature now. That is really neat. Deleting, same thing, just right click on a page and select delete. And it's gone forever to never be seen again unless you go into the recycle bin under history. And we covered how to move stuff from one section to another. So just once again, the test page, if I right click on it, if I go to move, I can choose where do I want to move it to, and it'll list all the other notebooks that are available to me, and especially the recents, which is cool. So I don't have to search sometimes too hard. All those are available.
I did have a question come in here too.
Yeah.
Ted would like to know, actually, he said, Colin, can you comment on security and backup? Then also, what happens if you can't access OneNote because it was down, etc.?
Yeah, okay, so security, OneNote notebooks stored in Microsoft 365 are only accessible to the people that you give permission to. So it's literally that simple. Whoever you share it with has access. You can remove their ability to be able to see it. And now you have one person or you have 10 people, but you control who gets to see that. And of course, we can help you with that. The second thing was security, well, the offline part. The beautiful thing right now is this is synced. So you probably, I should have pointed out, but if you would have been watching, like a lot of times when you type something, periodically you're going to see all of a sudden really quick, it's going to go green, it's going to sync. But what that means is if I right click with the right mouse button on the Word notebook up here, right, the test notebook, and I go to notebook sync status, Rich, you guys can't see that, can you?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. This is all the OneNote notebooks and when they've last synced. So you could force the sync then. So let's say you're on a plane, no internet access, and you go to bring up the test notebook because you want to work on the agenda for the webinar that you're preparing. All this would have been on my laptop. So I'm good to go. I'd type everything I want. I'd update, add pages, all that. When I come back to where it has internet access, it's going to sync up to the cloud and sync to my devices, all the changes that I made in Microsoft OneNote. I feel like I missed something in there though, Rich. There were 3 questions: security.
Comment on security and backup, and then what happens when you can't access OneNote.
Yeah, so backup, that's an interesting thing with Microsoft 365, where more and more companies are starting to design solutions to actually back up your Microsoft 365 information. Microsoft by default already has a retention policy for everything in Microsoft 365. 30 days roughly is the retention policy. So if you accidentally deleted a notebook, we would be able to go in and get it for you and be able to restore that. I'm never going to guarantee anything, but we'd be able to go in and restore that notebook. But coming are going to be more applications out there because we're all backing up our servers right now. That ability to do granular restorations is out there. Where Microsoft 365, let's say you deleted a whole section to your notebook, I can only restore a notebook in its entirety or not. I can't go in and restore individual pieces of it. And there's programs coming out there that allow us to be able to do something like that. So there'll be a business case at some point that you may want to actually have a third-party backup solution for Microsoft 365, but Microsoft does it. They have a 30-day retention policy, and you'll be able to get your OneNote notebook back if it's stored in Microsoft 365. Any other questions, Rich?
There's not, no.
Okay, great. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up then. Again, we're trying to keep these as brief as possible based off of the survey results of everyone. I hope this was informative. We're going to continue to come up with topics like this. Please share, invite your staff. Would be happy to have as many people as possible. Also, we're open to any topic. So if there's something within your organization that you think others might benefit from too, we can definitely add it to our list of topics that we want to talk about on these. And we're just going to continue to build them. You're going to see a follow-up email from us that's going to have a link to the YouTube channel that has this, as well as other webinars that we've done, like how to be a Microsoft Teams Ninja. There was some great information in there. But I guess without further ado, just want to thank you all for coming. Enjoy this week and just have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care, everybody.